Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Free Your Mind. As you know, I'm your host today. Emmanuel is sick, so I'm hosting for the next few days before Emmanuel gets here. So it'll be two of us. Welcome. As you know, I'm here. Daniel Ampon, Daniel Kupiampon, Uncle Danny, Mr. Anim, aliases, so many of them. We're out here. Today we have the one and only Brian Seremba in the house. Give it up for Brian.
What's up? What's
Yeah,
up? Glad to be here.
Brian is a vision leader, advocate for systematic equity. Recently awarded the prestigious King Charles III Foundation Award just a few days ago. So you know what? Give it up to him. And then I've known Brian for so long. Brian represents BCCA. It's like a non-profit association based in our province. He's also is an advocate. He helps the young kids in the community. So he does a lot. So, Brian, welcome.
Welcome. What's up? What's
up?
up?
So how you
I'm
feeling?
glad to be here, bro.
Oh, thank you for coming, man. I know you're very busy, man. Thank you for
Yeah,
taking
man. Honestly, it's so
time
busy.
out, coming and give us a little
Of
bit
course,
of
of
your
course. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Anything
Man.
for you, bro.
time. No, I appreciate it. No, I've been reading through your stuff and I see what you've done.
Yeah,
We really
yeah.
appreciate it.
We've been
I know-
busy.
Oh no, but what you guys are doing is really, really good. You guys doing something good for our community.
I appreciate it.
Something that we haven't had for a long time. Tell us a little about yourself, Mr. Brian.
Yeah, so my name is Brian Seremba. I'm co-founder of BC Community Alliance. We're a non-profit that's dedicated to tackling the systemic issues of anti-Black racism in BC schools. Just a little bit about me, context. I was born in Uganda, moved to the UK, grew up there for pretty much 22 years, graduated, and then I just felt like I needed to make a change, different environment. So fortunate enough, my mom, she's a nurse practitioner, and she wanted to, change from being in, East London, Hackney. That's where we grew up. We grew up in East London. And yeah, we came to Vancouver. And so we've been here for about 15 years. And honestly, like the rest is history. So a little bit about my organization, BC Community Alliance. We've been doing a lot of work in the community from, putting through a human rights complaint against the Vancouver School Board for Black youth in the city. We've been able to introduce two policy legislations that includes the anti-racism data legislation in 2022. Definitely go look that up. And the Anti-Racism Act in 2024. And since then, we've been doing empowerment programs, supporting Black youth, offering them like mental health, financial literacy. We've been helping them with like just different programming. We have like cohorts over 9 weeks. We introduce them with like industry leaders, people within the community that have different expertise. We teach them how to like brand themselves, how to be prepared for like career readiness, and also how to like explore like scholarship opportunities. We have partnerships with like, NBA Foundation, the basketball foundation, which is dope.
Really good.
Yeah, that one was definitely a game changer for us.
Yeah.
And since then, we've also had partnerships with like Van City here in the city. And then we also have a partnership with RBC to support the scholarship that we've been running for 2 years. So a lot of that work has really come from, community advocacy, getting into the right funding circles to be able to do this work, because this type of work is not done on the side of your desk.
Not at
You
all.
really need to be able to hire a team, to have like people like volunteers, donors, sponsors, partners, and so on, to be able to do this in an ecosystem. So yeah, was fortunate enough because of this work, I've been recently given this like prestigious award. You can check it out. It's pretty
Let's
dope.
check this out. Let's check this out. Check it out. Check it
It's
out.
pretty dope.
King
And-
Charles Award.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. People that don't know, this is a
Yeah,
big
it's
deal. It's a
crazy.
big deal. To be able to do this, they don't just give it to anybody. They give it to people that have been advocating for the community helping out non-profit association, getting, kids to in the right path. Because I know some of the people that received this award, they've been doing this for quite such a long time. It's not like a one day kind of thing. It's not 1 year. It's been years of you doing this. So, here it is. If you can zoom in a little bit, you can see how it is. It's a big award. And I know it was last week. It happened at the Surrey, right?
Yeah, Surrey Civic Center.
And it was one of the MPs or MPs that gave it to you.
Randeep, sorry.
Yeah.
He's the Liberal MP for Surrey.
Yeah. And you know what? This is a great achievement, my brother, man, Brian. I really
that's huge.
This shows
bro.
that you're doing
That's
something good in the community.
Yeah.
And not that many people get this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, this one, it means this is a federal MP that gave this award to our brother, Brian. And so this is a big deal. So anybody that's willing to help the community, please, you know how to get hold of our brother here, Brian. So, Brian, how did you get involved with all this? What made you get involved? Because I know this is not something that, it's like your day job.
Yeah.
And, I know in the beginning sometimes it's hard because you might not get paid a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because you got to keep working, and eventually once you guys just keep getting funding, then you're able to pay yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did you get involved? What made you want to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really great question. For us, I think, or at least for me, when I came to Canada, I was, I went to a really good school. For us in our culture, as you already know, being Ghanaian, I'm Ugandan. They really put a strong emphasis on university. You have to go to university.
You have to go to
You
school.
have to pick something and just do it.
As long as you go to school, the parents are happy.
Yeah, exactly. And so for us, we're not our family wasn't as strict in terms of where you had to what kind of specialty. They just wanted you to pick a course. So I picked management with international business, 3 years, graduated, and then I got into the workforce doing consultancy work.
In the UK, okay.
Yeah, in the UK, in London, city, suit, everything. So, that kind of exposure kind of gave me a lot of exposure into that, into the financial industry. Coming to Vancouver, I almost had to kind of start again.
Yeah, because it's like everything that you build over there.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
Yeah,
you
so
know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
just like everybody's stories. All of us have the same story.
Yeah.
You leave your home, pack your bags, come here with a suitcase. Just don't know what's going to happen until you get here. But thank God it's been good to all of us.
Totally.
It's been good to us. Without us being in Canada, honestly, myself, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't be in this. I wouldn't started this business. I wouldn't know most of the people that I've grown to know for the last 30 years.
Yeah, for sure.
How was it when you first came to Canada?
Yeah. And also just to go back to the previous question of what you were saying about how I got into the community space.
Yeah.
I had to really, work up into the ladder of the Canadian experience to be able to then get into the career that I wanted to get into, and that was technology. So I was in the fintech industry for the last couple of years, or about 5-10 years, and then I went to being a sales manager. But then in 2020, during the COVID, I just wanted to go back to school and do something else.
Yeah.
And because we had already started BCCA at that time, we was 1 year in, we didn't have any funding or anything like that. So obviously I had to have a job to kind of maintain myself. But then it was when we had because of the actions that we were taking to support community, we were getting a lot of exposure. And then we kind of just blew up a little bit into, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, all of that thing. So from there, we really were able to build capacity, get into funding streams to be able to kind of do this work and not do it on the side of the desk. So that was kind of how we were able to kind of build an organization up while maintaining a job. So it wasn't just me as the founder, I was a co-founder.
Okay.
It was with 3 other people.
Okay.
But actually there was about 20 people.
20 people.
That kind of came together through different organizations.
Okay.
Because I was part of the Ugandan community, so we were connected to the wider Black community, just through networks and so on. And then that's kind of how we were able to kind of start an organization, and then quickly build it up to where it is today, where we, I've been awarded that this medal. So I think for me, coming to Canada and to kind of pivot and to kind of explore new ways of living has really kind of opened up the doors into what's possible, So
I know it wasn't easy. But somebody had to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So during COVID, what happened that changed your life to be able to do this? Because I know since you've been here, you've had a job, you've been here and there. I remember you when you used to work close by here. So, what changed during COVID that made you and your other partners take this thing so seriously?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it was actually that time when I was telling you I was in the tech space. I was a sales manager. There was COVID, and then I had this in my mind, I was like, I can't raise a family being a sales guy. I could be a sales manager, I could be a sales director, but just the whole idea of sales was just not something that was really calling me.
Okay.
So going back to school, doing product management, and applying for a job, I think being basically being able to work for an organization called the Federation of Black Canadians, shout out to them, that really opened up the doors in terms of the whole ecosystem, because they were connected to different federal agencies and different bodies. And so we were able to network with pretty much the movers and shakers of, Ottawa and the people that really moved the nonprofit space. So I think that kind of exposure at such a young age really gave me the foundation to really catapult BCCA to where we are today. And because of the things that we're able to do, it's really been foundational to just kind of exposing myself to the tech space, the finance space, university, being in community as well. Just really helps in terms of bridging sort of an ecosystem of partners working together towards making change.
Yeah.
So that's how I think.
Okay. So, because I remember I think when I came to your event last time, you guys were talking about a young girl that suffered systemic racism in Vancouver School Board.
Yeah.
So, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so there's a group called the Meanwhile Black in Vancouver. Shout out to them. I've been a part of that group pretty much from when I got here to Vancouver. So it's a Facebook group page. You should definitely check it out. A lot of people within the community just post different things. Yeah. And that was just one of them, right? Yeah. So being in community and seeing that, I was part of the Ugandan community, so we had our own different activities that we were doing, but because we saw this incident take place and there was just a lack of accountability, we just felt I felt as a leader that I wanted to step in. But then what also happened was that there was other leaders from other organizations that also wanted to step in. And then from there, we were able to really form that collective, which is BCCA, BC Community Alliance. And then that's how we were able to start addressing the incidences that were taking place. And now where we are today, we're actually in the process of developing an app called Safe School Hub. We're going to be releasing it soon. We actually have a launch party on March 29th, where we're actually going to be able to showcase the app, because we actually have about 60 people on the wait list, and they will be providing us feedback. So it's to kind of help provide a map of where instances are taking place. But then also to look at ways we can address it. Okay.
And are you able to tell the audiences what exactly happened to the little girl at the school? The little girl that had that systematic racism in the Vancouver School Board?
Yeah, so, I mean, I can't really comment too much on it because of, how we addressed it, because we did it through the Human Rights Tribunal. So it was considered a class complaint because it wasn't just kind of her that was affected, but it was the wider Black youth within the system. So and we were able to bring multiple reports in terms of forming that complaint.
Because I know when I was going to school here, it wasn't that easy. It was tough. But those days we didn't have all the association to be able to help us. So everything happened to you pretty much you stuck it in, kept quiet, you moved on. But I know this stuff goes on every day. But most people don't even know how to go about it, how to be able to get help and everything. So that's why I'm wondering, like any youth out there that's facing any problems within yourself at your schools, you're getting bullied, how do they go about to like getting help? How?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for us, like as an organization, a lot of the times we have on our website called the BC Racism Tracker. It's a feature that we've had for about 2 years, and we've been able to create a map of where the instances are taking place, and that's how we've been able to form policy decisions, at the provincial level, but also how we can start now using it to create better solutions, even at the district level. And so that when these instances take place, there is actually proper accountability measures in place. But then what we're also going to be working on this year, I can't really share too much, but we're going to be providing the families that have been affected, that have reported, legal support, legal advice.
Which is really good.
Social work to be able to navigate the different programs and services that the government is offering, and then also mental health support. So a wraparound approach to supporting the Black families.
Yes. And one thing I want to talk about is this, though, because I know, way back in the days, with all the slavery stuff that happened, it affected a lot of us, a lot of our forefathers that came before us. But lately, I have a friend that's have a child that went to school, and they were watching this movie. And the movie was just so terrible, but the kid didn't really understand it. So they told me about it because they were watching one of those slave movies that they were like killing the blacks and like, shooting them, making them do all this stuff. But the kid had the kid was freaking out in class, but I didn't know how to go about it. So they told me about it, and I told them, listen, I think that I cannot go tell the teacher not to show this kind of movie in class. But you can go to the office or to the counselor to tell them that you don't feel comfortable with this. But when they did it, nothing happened. The kid had to sit there and watch. Because us that grew up during those days, we were able to handle it. But kids these days, they get, emotionally and mentally affected by this. And I think, I forgot the name of the movie. I wish I can remember. So, when kids have those kind of problems at schools, what do? What do you think would be the right way?
Yeah, I mean, that really comes down to, the district. So what we're learning is like how the district takes advice from like the Ministry of Education to be able to provide the right curriculum into the different schools. So, growing up in the UK, I remember in history learning about the roots and learning about slavery, learning about that and colonization and so much. Like I think growing up in the UK, it was almost like a masterclass of what the British did right around the world. So, when you come here and you kind of see similar things kind of taking place, that can obviously create a lot of trauma for the child, right? And it's something that I think more schools are becoming more aware of and looking at ways to address it. I know like everything's not perfect, but one of the things, even when we brought the human rights complaints forward, is introducing Black curriculum in terms of, or into the school district. So we were able to do that with the Vancouver School Board, is to introduce Black curriculum. And in terms of how they introduce that curriculum, it's to be able to kind of showcase the rich history of African history.
Not the terrible stuff.
Exactly, yeah. And I think even as, governments are introducing different legislations to address the systemic issues that have been taking place, not just in BC, but even the wider Canada, it's now creating more of an opportunity for government to look internally to the systems that were created, to start looking at how they can decolonize it and become more equitable in terms of, the messaging or the imaging that's being shown to kids. Because, kids are sponge, right? They learn so much. And you have to expose them to the right type of content. right?
Okay.
So that they can feel empowered to lead the lives that they're supposed to. And even within our own programming,
Yeah.
a lot of our after school program is geared towards creating a do for self mentality for the youth. It's like you can be whatever you want to be, whether you want to be a doctor, lawyer, a nurse, whatever it might be, you have that opportunity to do so. So we're reimagining, the school to prison pipeline to be the school to university pipeline so that we can get more youth thinking about, providing services that could obviously benefit the
And their life,
community
yeah.
and their life in general.
Okay. So that's good. And I know I have it here that you have a product here.
Yes.
So what's this product here you brought here for us?
Yeah, so these are prototypes right now. So I'm basically a co-founder, co-owner of this new business called Africopia Market, africopia.ca. And what we are is we import Ugandan produce into Canada.
Okay.
And we've created an online store where you can make purchases online and we can deliver it to you next day. So right now we're bringing in like matoke, which is like green bananas. It's like a staple dish in Uganda. We also have like fish, tilapia, beans, like different things, peas, corn, and you make an order online and you can buy it. So we've been operating since like November, and things have been good. So right now, where we are today is we've been showcasing packaged goods like ready,
like these ones.
yeah, like ready to eat. So the one that you have is the Kotogo.
Yeah, the vegan.
Yes, and so Kotogo is basically a Ugandan dish where you get green bananas and then you can have it with vegetables and you can have it with beef. So this one is the beef one
Okay.
with the green bananas and the, I believe it's steak or beef.
Okay.
And then, you can basically purchase it in any like grocery store.
Any grocery store?
Not yet. We're eventually we're gonna start putting it into grocery stores. We've had different conversations with different black-owned brands that are retailers that are interested in carrying our products. So that's really positive. And we also are in talks to see how we can get it into like Safeway. And big,
Which
and big
would be
box
very
stores.
good.
Yeah. So it's a great opportunity as a co-owner. And we're doing so well. And we're actually going to be having African oil as well that you can purchase online. It's through a partnership with Coco Cosmetics. They're another black-owned brand that does like skincare and formulation. So we want to also be able to provide that like all-rounder oil for everyday consumers. So essential items. And we're also going to be doing like potato chips, but instead of being potato chips, it's going to be plantain chips. Yeah.
But plantain chips already been done already by some Ghana guy.
Oh, from Ghana guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I should probably do a collaboration then.
Yeah, because Ghana, the way we love our plantains and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Because I know we have the plantain chips.
Yeah.
But now you're gonna have the Uganda plantain chips.
Yeah, exactly.
But you guys, your plantain is like the smaller ones or the big one.
So it depends. When we get it from here, they're pretty like lengthy. But when you go back to Uganda, they're like big. They're bigger.
Like the ones that you guys are importing now for the matoke is like the tiny ones, right?
No. So the ones that we're actually importing are from Uganda. We work with a cooperative of farmers that are Ugandan owned, and we source their products directly and we bring it in. So we already have a facility in.
And how long has that been? How long has that been going for though?
So we started off in November
this year.
Of last year.
Last year, okay.
Last year, November, but then we launched it in December. And right now we're working on developing an application. And also through my other business, Matima Canada, we're going to be opening up a retail location as well.
Oh, so you have another business too, other than this one? Yeah,
so my original business that I started is called Matima Canada.
Matima Canada?
Matima. Mutima.
Okay.
Canada. Okay. And so it's like a portfolio company.
Yeah.
where we empower newcomers to start their own
Business.
like solutions, businesses to support communities and society. So one of those businesses is Africopia.
Okay.
So we own 1/3 of Africopia. The other 2/3 owners are the newcomers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
our idea is to support entrepreneurs by giving them the tools that we have learned over time to be able to start businesses that can continue to support them. So we're investing in their.
So how are you able to juggle BC and then this one, the non-profit, and this one, and the third one?
And then the drink company
And
as well.
oh yeah,
right?
don't forget, and the drink company. The drink is not here today, but we'll be here next time. So next time,
Yeah, we'll drop it.
you drop it
the
in,
link. Yeah. So that honestly, one of the things that I'm happy to like be here to showcase is that if you have an idea, don't just think about it. Like start thinking about how you can put the idea to paper.
yes,
And then start telling people about it.
Yeah.
People that you can trust, obviously, to see how you can envision it. Because a lot of these ideas that even I share today are ideas that I once had.
okay,
And
okay.
I've been fortunate enough to
be able to make it work.
get the funding and,
Yeah.
and move it in the direction that I am, and so that's a privilege that I'm fortunate to have, but it's one of those things where I'm also looking to see how I can create a larger ecosystem of different entrepreneurs working together collaboratively, because I think a lot of, even when you look back in Africa, a lot of Africa and what we've been known as is Africa is like a resource continent, right?
But we don't know how to manufacture and do everything ourselves.
Exactly.
We get it, it goes outside, it gets done, and bring it back to us, and then sell us for more money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what we're seeing now is like more African countries are taking control of their
Yeah.
sovereignty,
Yeah,
right?
they take an initiative to make it work,
Exactly. Like there's electric vehicles in Burkina Faso, like
which is like one thing I'm so happy about.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of different other African countries that are like spearheading that, that agriculture technology. Or I can't remember the term, but it's like agro something where you basically grow products, or you grow like produce, like fruits, vegetables, but then you turn it into products, and
Okay.
like could be jams, it could be whatever. So in this case, we're taking something that's naturally been taken to the community, and then now we're turning it into packaged goods that can be sold to the wider public.
So one thing I want to ask is, right, what everything that you're doing with the nonprofit and with your own business, what are the challenges like sometimes you guys face?
Yeah, like I think the biggest challenge is, access to capital.
Okay.
I think even within our own community, we've just not been able to have, equitable funding opportunities in a way that other communities have had. So I think that's probably like one of the biggest challenges. But I think one of the ways in which we are finding solutions is moving from that individual thinking to thinking more collectively in the group mentality. And I think because I've seen, other people within community come with me, for example, to start Africopia, right? That helps us to then move the business forward, because it's not just me.
It's other
There's
people,
other
so,
two
yeah.
other partners, right?
So the financing get to be a lot easier.
Exactly. So I think just finding the right people to help you move the needle forward can really help in terms of, cost allocation, finding networks that can also help you that you might not have the necessary access to. So I think for us, a lot of our customers are people within our own network, and there's 3 of us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a way in which we've been able to solve that access to capital issue.
So right now, what would you say to like the young people that are coming up, like willing to, they have ideas, they want to start with no capital? How do they go about? Is there like a place they can come to get help, like to write a business plan, to get their life moving? Because I know when we started here, it was very difficult. If we didn't have the right people around, it would have been very difficult. I know it took us about 6 months to open up instead of just like about 1 month. And that was then. So now it's pretty much like, how buildings, it costs a lot of money to get a place. So what would you suggest? Start an online company or preferably whatever dream you have, just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing as well that I really want to address as well. It's like a lot of the times, I think even within many communities, it's not probably just the Black community, but there's this notion of wanting to do things on your own, right? Like it's like this ego thing. And one of the biggest things that kind of comes out from that is this silo of like all these different like events or activities going on, but there's no like coalition, right? Of thought, coalition of ideas, coalition of ways in which you can address it together in a collective. So for me, you know, I have started my drink company on my own, but I've started, you know, a business with co-partners. BCCA is with co-partners, you know, and we've definitely been able to make more momentum because we're doing it
Together.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, and even in the context of BCCA, you know, we were other organizations that came together to form a consortium, right, called BCCA. And then the same with Africopia Market.
Yeah.
You know, we're almost like a consortium of individual leaders within the Ugandan community that formed this business. So even with me having my own drink company, I can still do collaborations
with other people too.
With other people
because
too.
It's not like you're stuck in there.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, and so I think for anyone that's looking for ways to, you know, formalize their ideas, their business plans, there's so many resources out there. I can send you a list.
Okay, yeah, we greatly appreciate. So we let the people know where to go, how to go about it. Because I know sometimes most difficult part is you have an idea, but putting it together or bringing it to life. So it's the hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even for us, our organization, we teach entrepreneurship, we teach product management to the youth, and we want to be able to get them thinking about entrepreneurship early.
Yeah.
You know, I started BCCA in my 20s. If I started it in my teens, just imagine where I'd be, right? Yeah. I mean, shout out to Dashes, right?
He's been
making a lot of moves in the community, and that's great, right? And that's so supportive. And there's other people like Eden Bell from you know, Ethos Lab that started Black Girls Collective.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so everybody, they've been making moves, the right decisions.
Yeah, yeah. And I think honestly, like, they came from ecosystems as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about finding where your ecosystem is, you know, and then being able to tap into that ecosystem. Because once you are able to tap into that ecosystem of people doing different things, you can potentially see an opportunity where you can then build a business, a nonprofit, you know, open up your own retail store. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, man. With the right people in the right circumstances, anything is doable.
Exactly.
Okay. And also, so what are your future plans? Like, what do you plan, let's say, 5 years from now? Where do you see BCAA? Where do you see Africopia? Like, where do you guys see yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So when we first started, like, BCCA, we didn't really anticipate the growth that we would go through, especially, you know, having the opportunity to work at national organizations and just being around different people that helped us move BCCA forward. So for us now, we're not just supporting, you know, Black youth, but we're going to be working towards supporting Black families as well. And that's going to be part of our whole sort of push towards, you know, supporting community, not just through the youth, but also through the families. And then eventually we want to also be able to support elders as well.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the problems I face is when we get new people that come to Canada or come, you know, and then sometimes they don't know where to go. When they come in here, they think, oh yeah, we're going overseas, we're going to Canada, life is going to be good. And then they get here and they realize it's not how it is.
Yeah.
You get here thinking, oh man, I get here now, tomorrow I'm going to make money, I'm going to be rich. So you know, but it's not like that, man.
Yeah, it's a grind.
Oh, it's a grind, man. So I see people every day, they come here like, oh, how can I do it? So usually I try my best to be able to help them facilitate whatever is going on with their lives, how to be able to like build credit, build their life, how to like get supportive system, you know, people that with family, how to be able to go through all that stuff. So especially if it's like a parent, two parents come in and you have a newborn, one gotta work, one gotta stay home if you cannot afford daycare. So usually I just tell them, listen, the best way is you plan it around. It's either you take a different shift. The man works at nighttime, you work during the day, so that way you're able to accommodate everything. So, and sometimes some people do and it works, but some people too are not able to do it, so then they start going crazy. So when it's like that, what do you suggest for people like that, like newcomers that are coming in, like young ones, families, and everything? What what do you have for them? What can you tell them? What advice? What anything can you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about being in Vancouver, we've now what we're seeing, especially at an organizational level, is that there's more ways for people that are new to the country to get tapped into community. There's this Meanwhile Black in Vancouver page where there's like 6,000 members where you can literally jump in and start introducing yourself and start developing networks and connections. There's our organization. You can always reach out, volunteer. We can always